two perspectives from two very different people on topics like relationships, self-growth, perspective, just life in general. It's a side of me I've hidden for way too long. I want a podcast about meaningful topics once a week with people I fuck with, not necessarily people that agree with me or are a copy of me like you, right? But that embody an open mind along with daily action, dignity, and all the other good words. So this week, it's you. And I have two questions for you. What do you do for a living? And two, why did you even say yes to doing this with me?
Well, what I do for a living, it's a tough question because I play the little Los Angeles game where I'm a musician and I'm a dancer, but that is not what makes me my living at the moment. To be clear, at the moment. But I work from home. I work remote. I do marketing actually for a company in Texas, which is fun. I get to work with my friend. So I'm pretty much at home. Like when I'm not on emails and doing my marketing stuff, I'm doing music or training for dance or hopefully getting to be on set and shoot things and do all that fun stuff. Yeah, that's my everyday life. And wait, what was the second question?
The second question is, why did you even say yes to doing this with me?
Oh, honestly, I really liked recording with you the first time. I think we had
Uh,
a really good banter and I enjoyed the clips that we got out of it. I was like watching them back and was like, actually, I feel like we jive. Like, I feel like we've got a good thing. Also, anybody who knows me knows I just never shut up. So I think a podcast is a pretty good format
You're so
for me. I've
perfect.
got a lot of words.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to come out one way or another.
Yeah, all the silent moments that I'll have and my balance of introverted, cool, I'll never have to worry. You'll just figure something out to say anyway to fill in the gaps.
No, don't you worry. I will always
So what does your work schedule look like?
I teach a class actually on Monday nights. So that for Monday nights, I'm always teaching, or my friend actually, who's spying on this recording right now, listening,
Mm,
she teaches an advanced class. It's intermediate advanced, but it's Los Angeles, so it's advanced at 88 Studios. And so I get to be in class with her on Monday evenings before I go teach mine. And then I pop into whatever else is available. Honestly, these days, I've been mostly in her classes because she's such a good teacher that I'm like, I know I can show up and I can actually get something out of this. And classes have gotten so expensive lately. So that's most of what I do. And then in the evenings, like if it's not dance class, I'm working on music. I'm in writing sessions. Thankfully, I live with somebody who can help me produce and write and do all that fun stuff. So we do sessions at home or I'm over at my producer's place working on stuff.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so it sounds like your life's extremely balanced as much as it can be for everything you want to pursue.
Yeah, I make that face when
You
you
know?
say balanced because to me,
Exactly.
everything.
That's a dirty word.
Yeah.
My life is similar, where work happens and then immediately after I either pass out or for a little bit, and now I go to dance classes too. So we are aligned on that. Yeah,
Yeah. I
crazy.
can't wait to talk about that. I need to hear about your dance journey and like everything because you posted a little bit about it, and then I don't feel like I've seen a lot in development since then. But I definitely want to hear about your relationship with dance.
Yeah, I'm partially upset that I'm not recording like enough progress videos or just getting people to record it for me. But it's okay. It works out. I will tell you all about it. We will discuss it in our pod. But
Yeah.
it's been a good balance for me too physically. It's helped me be happy about my calorie deficit. So like lost some weight and just
Nice.
it's what a better way than doing cardio or Stairmasters for 45 minutes. Yeah.
It's
So
fun
it's been a good,
cardio.
yeah, it's fun cardio. And then after work, I will either try to see family or I will try to work on content in general. Content being either whether it's podcast, catching up on all the editing, figuring out solo videos for social media. All of this sounds just like I'm an OnlyFans creator, but
Content. No, it's just a human existing in 2024, if we're being real.
it's exactly. Yeah. If you really want to exist, you have to do all these things. So after that, I do like intermittent fasting by accident. I never really was a breakfast person anyway. So now I'm just like, let's fucking skip lunch and eat once a day and we'll be happy when we go to sleep because we did have a good dinner. So it's
You
working
make
out.
it to just one meal a day?
Oh,
You're that
yeah. Yeah.
hardcore in your
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be like
Yeah.
the most unkind human. Nobody would be able to stand to be around me if I did that.
If
Like
I'm
I
not
can't.
distracted, I'm the same. Yeah. If like today I'm not distracted, I didn't intermittent fast today because it's like, okay, no need to, because otherwise I'll hate myself. Like for sure, if I would hate myself today if I tried to intermittent fast.
Okay. All
So
right.
that leads into the,
Yeah.
say it again.
You choose when it's going to be able to work for you. And
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I figured out. So that scary word of balance is okay, cool. It just turns out it's just whatever you want, and it's a day to day or week to week or a month to month basis. Never knew that. That was a
Yeah.
perspective shift for me.
Nice.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
I'd love to hear more about that. That's something that I am definitely like don't know that I have the healthiest relationship with, but I've
mhm.
always strived for that. That I'll try the intermittent fasting stuff, and I feel like I do good with that because I'm not really a breakfast person.
Yeah,
But being able to decide, pick and choose when to have that balance is something that I feel like I end up just shaming myself for because I'll pick
yeah,
something, and if I don't stick to it, I feel like I failed, even if it's that was not really what needed. That's not what I needed to do. Like it's okay if I needed to make adjustments, but it's like almost like I need outside permission for some of that. So that's definitely something I'll want to pick your brain on in
deal.
future.
And I'm actually really happy you even admitted that. Again, there's that part of you like where you're vulnerable about like where you're at instead of just being a yes person. So that's like the opposite of what I would want for this podcast. Like I have some friends that might be good, but they just be yes people instead of saying, okay, I'm not that good at that, but that'd be cool to talk about too.
Yeah, no, that's why I really like honestly, podcasts are the biggest form of media that I consume. I am such a podcast person, and I really appreciate it because I feel like I get like a good slice of humanity from it because people are honest about stuff to be like, I'm not good at that. Like, I'll shame myself for this. And it's like about having those conversations. I'm really that way with my friends. I feel like that's my normal mode that I am because that's when you're going to get the most out of life when you can be like, "Oh, how do you do that? I need to know." So, that's why I enjoy podcasts because it definitely feels like my conversations I get to have with my friends and so I like to
Yeah,
listen in
so
on
it's just who you would be off camera anyway. And that's what
totally.
you'd enjoy the most too, is getting something from friends that actually values your life and plus just the banters of it. Makes sense. Yeah. I can't really get happiness out of conversations if it's not like that. Am I getting something a little
Otherwise,
bigger?
yeah, you're just playing a role if not.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Again, we keep being aligned on those. What we had just talked about with that potential perspective shift of not shaming yourself instead of seeing it like a weekly, monthly balance, that would fall under kind of the three ways I'm separating categories. One's being relationships, second, self growth, and then third, perspective, which is all very open. It can be all the same thing in the same category, but that's how I'd probably structure it. And instead of trying to make topics with each other that go just defined and this is what we do every single week, what I've seen, and this is probably going to resonate with you, is like there's usually something at the end of the week that seems to be a pattern or a trend that is in my mind. Oh, this thing that I'm working on seems to be something I'd like to talk about on a format and I'd like to probably broadcast it. That's like a desire matching with where your philosophy is going in your head. So that's my plan for that. How's that sound to you?
I love that. I'm all full of those. That's like my little songwriting notes. I have little things I'm like, that is, I got to process these things, or I have this, I gained this perspective on this. And so I have always keeping little notes of how I find those things in life because I definitely want to share that with the world in one format or another. So definitely on board for
Interesting.
that.
Okay. So you already do note taking on like the weekly, bi-weekly, monthly type of basis already.
Yeah, on accident, honestly, because I'm just always trying to,
Hmm.
like, gather info for things that are gonna be good songwriting, and the best songs come out of just, like, things that people can relate to. Your favorite songs, you probably enjoy them because 'cause you're like, "Yeah, I get what they're talking about," or, like, those songs that really
Yeah.
hit you, it's because you can vibe with them. So I'm always trying to collect those little bits of humanity to actually say something with my songs. I love pop music, but a lot of times it doesn't always say something too important, and that's my goal with it, is that I want to actually have some substance that's beyond just like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." So, yeah, I
Eh,
keep little notes on it for that reason.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be really aligned for all of this then. And then, of course, there's those places where you don't want any meaning and you just want that. Like, I catch
Of
myself in
course.
that. Big X the plug. I can't relate to most of what he's saying, but fucking his beats and his voice, fire. Shit,
It's
fire.
balance.
It's
Balance.
balance.
We're
Yeah.
right
It's
back.
just, yeah. So
Yeah.
from here, we will try out a mini series. So just for recording purposes, relationships. We'll just do one topic on that. What's a romantic relationship that changed you the most?
Oh, the one I'm in right now?
What? Okay, cool, cool.
Mm, yeah. Do you want, like, a long answer or short answer? We're doing mini clips here.
Let's go with short.
Short answer being, I think they always, like I'll say this. My mom used to always tell me that being in love was like freedom, that you were like set free. And I held on to that little note from like teenager standpoint, and I found myself in all my past relationships being like, I'm hanging on to this with like white knuckles, with everything I have to make this work. Like, this does not feel like freedom. This feels it is like anxiety and a wild ride. And then I met my partner that I'm with now, and I was like, oh, that's what mom meant. Oh, it is like freedom. Like, I'm like, I can go be my own whole human. And then I have this other human that like meets me there and loves and supports me and picks up the little pieces that I missed along the way. And so I think for me, that has changed me to, I have a whole new perspective on what like relationship means. It's not like of service to somebody else. It's like
Mm,
a life you share, and they pick up these little pieces you might miss, and you pick up those pieces they might miss, and you're both whole humans that hold each other up. So that was
interesting.
still
Yeah.
kind of a long answer, but that was
No, that, yeah, I don't think we'll ever have like actual short answers anyway. But that,
Okay, what about you? What's a relationship that has changed your perspective?
yeah, for me, it'd be the one that I posted a video about saying I'm still not over that ex. That one, the craziest one where we weren't even like technically in a relationship, where we weren't being in that limbo. The biggest things was I thought I learned a lot of growth going into it, but I completely kept abandoning myself, not realizing we're completely incompatible. That was like the
Mm.
first conversation for the first couple weeks is we are definitely incompatible, but kept seeing each other anyway. And both of us were old enough and smart enough to not do that.
Yeah.
But you don't know the consequences of it until you've already learned all those things and you know it's not a good idea, and then you do it anyway. It's like relapsing. I've
Yep.
relapsed on alcohol, relapsed on smoking, and all of those you just realize, oh, there's no way I would have fully learned this lesson until I did it that one more time while I'm completely aware of it. And maybe with not as much shame, right? But there was definitely shame in that relationship.
With that, just not admitting soon enough that it was time to let go, or actions towards each other.
We were really kind to each other the entire way, where we understood we were not compatible, but we kept seeing each other. We communicated really healthy that we were being unhealthy all the time. So that's
Isn't
why it
that
made it
funny?
super good. Yeah.
So self-aware, but be like, I'm making the wrong choice and I am making it.
Yeah. Yeah, which seems fun, right? Because that even the way you and I just said that, that's basically what we would do. And it just seems what could go wrong, right? Patterns, self sabotage, continuing that for your entire life. It was the last pattern I hope I make in that extent, at least. But if it wasn't for that relationship and the amount of beating myself up I did after saying, why did I let that happen? I used a lot of anger against her, not actually like verbally or abusive, but against myself in my head, right? It was her
Yeah.
fault. It was her fault. Why she leave me on? Like, why do we keep it going? But you come out of that and you realize that it's just another pattern, and every relationship before that was the exact same thing. And obviously, I realized all of this through therapy and lots of 10 different fields that led all to realizing how impactful that relationship was. But yeah, she'd be my most for all those reasons and so much more. Yeah,
Yeah.
tons of
Yeah.
growth came out.
Those are like the hard lessons though you have to go through sometimes, and it's even though you know them and you knew what was right or wrong with that, or we shouldn't be in this and it's being toxic, it's you have to just do it and come
Yeah,
out the other side to know, because it's like, what's the worst that could happen? And then you find out and you're like, okay, now I
yeah.
know. And then you get to carry that with you, but like, you unfortunately you got to learn it. Sometimes there is no medicine like the truth. It's just is what it is.
Yeah, it's especially when it comes with that much pain. If there wasn't that much pain in there, how could I actually realize, oh, boundaries are important at this point? Boundaries are really important. And from that one, we realized if we don't put up those boundaries, it comes into almost like 2 years of heartbreak at this point. Like a grown man realizing that, yeah, it's getting better. But at the same time, like you realize there's still love for that person. And whether
Yeah.
that's actual love or not, I don't know. But at some point, you know, if
Yeah.
I see her again, if I run into her again, which I did not that long ago, we both admitted we still love each other.
Yeah.
But good enough to where we did not, where at least I didn't unblock her and go through
Yeah.
it again. So yeah,
Yeah, you carry a piece of everybody. before, because you learn lessons. Like, you have to keep a piece of it. That's just a part of life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the toughest thing because when it involves real people, man, where you make those jokes and say, we're both being toxic, but we continue anyway. Like how many YouTube videos and how many therapy sessions can really stop you from doing that? You can't. You just have to experience that pain, and then you know for yourself now that, okay, I can't even allow that.
Yeah, you have to know. Like, you have to learn it yourself. There's no book you can read it. There's no podcast you can listen to. There's no advice from a friend. Like, you just got to go through it and get out the other side and be like, okay, now I know.
Yeah, what seems like the worst advice to give. Sorry, it's just experience, but that's you can't shortcut it, and if you do, relapses happen. But we'll cover that on the relationships. Of course, we have self-growth, we have perspective. Self-growth, we got to end this like before 8:30 actually, so we'll skip around that. We'll tie it in on that. Yeah, exactly. So we'll just tie it in around that.
I have to about the most pressing question though.
Yes.
Do you still live with the dog named Monkey?
Yeah, Monkey's not here right now. We do that shared custody thing. So he will be back on June 4th, I think. Yeah. June so we 4th. Have my yeah. Or you know what? Let me double check. I'll check my calendar, but it should be something like that.
Because I'm going to need like Monkey updates. Him and I bonded during the first recording. I drank from a mug that had him on it. I can't. Monkey and I were. He's in the photo we took. Come on.
Yeah, and subconsciously, you are more important in my life because of how much you valued Monkey being on a cup and how happy you were about it. Yeah. There's so many people that wouldn't have even given a shit or noticed it, and you actually cared, and so you will forever be like when I was editing that clip, I was like, oh wait, she actually gave a shit about Monkey. Yeah, she's on top.
Monkey and his little laser games. His little laser games. It's the best.
I got anxiety when you said that word. Just saying laser. Where's he at? Oh,
right. I know he's not there, so I can say it. It's fine.
This worked out. I'm happy with the format, and I loved how without me, it's one of those things you don't have to say things for someone to lead it if they're an aligned person, where you already asked me the question instead of me saying, also remember to ask me the question back or something, which isn't the format, but it's your natural curiosity between you and I anyway.
No, I think we'll have really like good flowing conversations. I think it'll be, honestly, that's why one of the other reasons I was excited to say yes to like doing podcasts with you. Cause I feel like the last one we focused, like you were interviewing me. So it was like a lot of questions focused on me. And I'm like, okay, but what about you? But wait, you asked that question for a reason. I want to know why. So I think we'll have good conversations because I like to figure out why people like to ask the questions they ask. Cause it's usually because they have an underlying thing going on in their life that they're like, I feel this way about this. And I ask people these kinds of questions. So anyways, we can get to that. But
if anything, you just described the theme of the podcast. Like the questions I'll be putting on here are the questions that I'm going through that week or pondering about. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm using my own examples, and then I'm talking to another person to see, do we share this experience in this universe?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think it'll be great. I'm excited. It's going to be good. We're just like so smart, Justin. I mean, you just need to like hear us talk.
Oh my God. You just gave me a clip. Fuck yeah.
Oh no, I did it again. You're just going to be full of clips that are going to cancel me.
Every show we do, and now we're going to do a good amount. Perfect. Thanks for this whole episode. You went without it, and then boom.
You're welcome. I couldn't resist. I got to be that person.
Thank God.
People recognize my sarcastic voice. I don't. It's fine.
Well, the mic is perfect, so they definitely will.
You can pick up on the tone.
Yeah. Okay. We'll end it on that, and then I'll update you on everything, and we'll resume on when our next virtual one will be. I'm excited.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks, Benny. Take care.